Hello, my name is Raymond Karchevsky, and I am a living Christ. Today I have a message for you. It's time for the second American Revolution, but let it be led by the second coming of Christ consciousness and not violent war. This sounds like pie in the sky to most of you because you have been bred on dualistic violence all of your lives by schools, by education, by religions, by governments. You have been taught that to resolve problems, the good must overcome the evil. But you don't understand that as long as you find your substance within the conscious intellect, the dualistic intellect, the satanically ruled intellect, you yourselves are satanic, but you're slaves within the system of dualism. And that's all you know. You have long ago given up the fact that you do have two minds. The subconscious, non-dualistic mind, which is the mind of God, the mind of creation, the mind of non-dualism. That is the actual creative mind that each of you hold within you. And you have subverted that in lieu of adopting the control gained by the conscious intellect, the dualistic intellect, the divided, the split intellect that leaves you confused. You don't realize that the purpose for your being here on this plane of consciousness, for being here on earth at this time, is to seek a balance between your subconscious mind and your dualistic intellect, your satanically ruled intellect. Now, you must have the intellect for technical problem solving, for communication, for inventive thinking, which is the basis of our societies. But look at the damage that has been done by living in that conscious intellect. Of course, you are not aware, very few of you are aware of the power of the subconscious mind, the non-dualistic mind. Oh, you see the evidence of it in people who are unbalanced. When they are strictly unbalanced in their subconscious mind, and they do not seek balance with the conscious intellect in order to communicate, and they sound crazy. They sound disjointed. But they have the ability to transcend time, to transcend space. That is the basis of all fortune tellers, psychics. You understand? There's truth in that. But they're unable to express it. through the conscious level of the intellect. It sounds crazy to them. For many of you, I, this living Christ, sound crazy. I am the most balanced man you shall ever meet in your lifetime, because I am a Christ. There are other Christs, but they're not as vocal as I am. I suggest that each and every one of you consult my homepage on the internet, arkenterprises.com, and also lisarayenterprises.com. There you will find the mundane actions of a holistic man meeting directly the challenges of an unbalanced satanic government and religion, and the impossible demands that have been made upon him, with threats of violence and threats of imprisonment. Well, they have tried to carry out those threats. They tried to imprison me for 40 years on a high beam violation, and the fact that I had the audacity to travel in my private automobile, fully owned, having no trace to the satanic government through registration. The law was tested, but it was the law of Satan that was tested, man's law. You see, I, this living Christ, abide by God's law, and I am not subject to man's law. For God's law is very simple. It is do no harm and tell no lies. And I submit 24 years of my conduct on the internet, on the computers, worldwide. I suggest you look at that and you find a single, deliberate, willful contradiction in essence, which is a sin. That's what sin is all about. And all of you who live in your conscious intellect are living in contradiction. You're living in sin. That's as simple as it is. You condemn yourselves to enslavement to ideas, to fantasies, to illusions. They're not real. Reality, truth, can only be found in the subconscious mind, the non-dualistic mind, the mind of what is, the mind of truth. When Jesus said he was the truth, the life, and the way, he admitted to being a non-dualistic man, a man of truth. I am such a man, and I declare it openly to the world. And I demand that all of the evils that have been done to this living Christ for the past 24 years, which is grandiosely displayed in proof and evidence that anyone can see for the past 24 years. And the government of these United States of America, with its police, its executive branch, its judicial branch, will not investigate this living Christ's complaints of the crimes that have been committed against him in 24 years. Now, what purpose do they serve? when they do not provide the services that they profess to serve. Public service, public protection, honesty. It doesn't exist in the satanically ruled, intellectual-driven government. For all that comes from that plane of existence, of consciousness, is illusion, is fraud, is criminal conduct. You're all in it. That is the system that you all live in. And you'll find that I, this living Christ, now get this, because it is true, I am the only one who speaks truth to you. Every other commentator bespeaks the illusions of ideas, of laws created by man, by satanically ruled men. And they argue because they live in the dualistic level of intellect. I do not. I do not argue. I clearly speak what is, and devil take the hindmost, and it has. They have declared me to be dead because they have lost their ability to sway, to pander to the illusions of intellectual slaves which operate by belief. And they influence these individuals through such dualistic rhetoric. I don't engage in rhetoric. I speak what is. I don't dress it up. I do not pander to you. I do not stroke you. I do not tell you how wonderful you are to agree with me. I could care less what you think. It is what is, beyond thought, that is true or not true. And that is my purpose for existence on the internet. No one, not my family, not my children, not anyone understands this living Christ. Oh, there are some of you out there who do, and there are few in number. But you also lack the ability to openly speak of your understanding, because you are afraid of the consequences of such truth spoken in an environment of deception. We must overcome that. Now, I said at the beginning of this talk that it is time for a second American Revolution to occur, but not a violent one, not a shooting war, not killing, for those are all dualistic activities. They are satanic activities. I speak of the divine. Realization of the problem, the solution to the problem, and that is peaceful boycott. You see, you created government, and you are thus the only one who can uncreate that government, because you are real, you are true, you are living men and women. You are not persons. Persons are fictitious entities created by a fictitious government. And that fictitious government was created by you, the living man, the living woman. Do you understand that? You are the only creator. The rest you see are illusions. The government is an illusion. The religions is an illusion. The philosophies are illusions. You live in an illusory world. You live in a time-bound world, a world of birth and death. But you see, that is not the real you. That is the person. That is the fictitious life lived in the fictitious ending, beginning and ending of a life. All illusion. That's hell. That's civilized life. And it calls for people to sell their souls and become personages. Not living men and women, because there they are divine, they are the creators, they are the gods of their life. You don't understand that? You have been bred out of that understanding through your participation in the educational systems which have molded your intellectual grasp of life, the satanic grasp of life. I speak from the non-dualistic, the divine, the oneness of truth. That is the satanic, the Christ consciousness, where there is no opposition. There's only what is. And I am the only one who speaks that on the internet. Search far and wide, worldwide. You will not find another with the energy of this living Christ. And that is what upsets you the most. Your whole apple cart is upset, thrown over. The familiarities of your concepts are challenged, and you can't rebut them. Well, the fact is that if everyone lived as this living, breathing, flesh and blood, living Christ lived, and has proven his ascendancy over the satanic government and its courts, and showed that those courts were impotent, although they tried to destroy this living Christ. They have failed. What I have done, so can you. Each and every one of you possess the same properties of consciousness that I, this living Christ, possess. It cannot be argued by the conscious intellect, and that is the weakness. That is the Goliath that was slain by this living Christ with the stone of truth when they tried to put him away in prison for 40 years on concocted charges. What I have done, so can every one of you, all of your leaders, your political leaders, your president, Donald J. Trump. They're all illusions. They're all personages created by government, by definition. They're not living, breathing, flesh and blood men as you. They have sold their souls for the power of hell, the power of deception that controls slaves in a master-slave relationship agreed by consent and by contract. It's time for us to realize who we truly are and the power that we have in our hands as living men and women, and overthrow by boycott, peaceful boycott, not violent war, but peaceful. What we have created, let us uncreate. It is provided for us in the Declaration of Independence. Let us use it. The Satanist in control of the government cannot fight that. They cannot rebut that. That is the peaceful revolution that I speak of. And each and every one of you can do that. Not by groupthink, for all groupthink is satanic, because it's based on definitions which rule over the thoughts of individuals. Freedom is an individual thing. You must act alone. There may be millions, hundreds of millions of you, but each of you are acting independently and alone. Now you tell me how government can control that kind of scenario. It is impossible. And that is how to bring down a satanic government when it no longer serves its purpose. That is my message to you. Thank you for your attention.